Hey, let's talk about IndyCar drivers at the Rolex 24-hour race. If you're not familiar with the Rolex 24, it's a 24-hour race at Daytona International Speedway's road course. It's put on by IMSA, a different racing body, but since it's 24 hours long, which is longer than their normal races, IMSA teams go looking for additional drivers. Well, where do you find fast guys on a road course? In IndyCar, of course. And IndyCar drivers aren't busy in January, so it makes a perfect fit. So I'll give you a brief description of IMSA, and then we can talk about which drivers are in the race, so you can find out if you can watch your favorite. So there's four classes of cars in IMSA. And from fastest to slowest they are. There's GTP. People call it prototype class. And these are hybrid powered, V8 powered prototypes. So kind of like an Indy car, but a little bit slower and full body, not open wheel cars. So they're the fastest class. The next fastest class is LMP2. So this is, think the P2, LM stands for Le Mans, P2 is like prototype 2. And these are a spec chassis and a spec engine. So they don't require the manufacturer support of the GTP cars, but they're still pretty quick, not quite as fast. Then there's sports cars, the GTD classes. There's GTD Pro, which is sports cars with professional drivers. And then there's GTD, which is sports cars that have some amateur drivers on the team. Now, by sports cars, I mean like Porsche 911s, BMWs, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Mustangs, and Corvettes are what you'll see out there. So some fast cars. So let's talk about what drivers are in what class. For our current drivers, we'll see three drivers that drove an IndyCar last year in the GTP class. And those three are Scott Dixon. He'll be driving the number 60 Meyer-Shank car. And then there's Alex Palou. So we got some heavy hitters here. Alex Palou will be driving the 93 Meyer-Shank car. So they're both driving for Meyer-Shank, but not in the same car. Colton Herta, he will be in the number 40 Cadillac, because he's aligned with Cadillac. All three of those cars have the capability of winning the race if they do it right. In the LMP class, we have Christian Rasmussen, who's been in the LMP class before, and Nolan Siegel. Even before Nolan was an IndyCar driver, he was driving in IMSA classes, in IMSA prototype classes. In GTD Pro, Kyle Kirkwood is in there in a Lexus, and Will Power is in there as well. In GTD class, you'll find Scott McLaughlin and in a Corvette and Callum Ilott in a Porsche. There's also some past IndyCar drivers in the race, and we could talk about them. We've got Kevin Magnussen, who drove a couple races in IndyCar and a bunch of races in F1, and he'll be in there. Tom Blomqvist, who was an IMSA GTP driver for Meyer-Shank, and he came over to IndyCar for a short period of time, and he went back, and he'll be in the race. AJ Allmendinger, who was a successful IndyCar driver that went on to NASCAR, where he's done quite well, will be back with Meyer-Shank as well. So Meyer-Shank's pulling out the stops and has some heavy hitters. Other past IndyCar drivers in LMP2, Sebastian Bourdais will be there. So that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of his. He was multi-time IndyCar champion. Other drivers in LMP2 will be Jacob Abel, Pietro Fittipaldi, Toby Sowery, and Hunter McElrea. In GTD Pro, we'll see Benjamin Peterson, who used to drive for Foyt, Yuri Vips, who's been involved with Rahal Letterman for quite a while and has done races for them. A past racer named Jack Hawksworth, who you might not be familiar with, but he did 2 seasons in IndyCar and did okay. And then James Hinchcliffe, of course, who did well and now commentates. He's not on the official entry list, but he has said that he'll be in the race for FAF Motorsports, which I think fields a Lamborghini. So in GTD, Roman Grosjean will be in there. So a couple of Indy Next drivers will be in the field too, Enzo Fittipaldi and James Rowe. And then there's still some openings on some of the teams. So we might see 1 or 2 or 3 additional IndyCar drivers. Here's my nominees for drivers that aren't in the field yet, but could be. Kiffin Simpson has done some prototype racing and endurance racing in the past. He's good at it, so he'd be a good candidate. Felix Rosenqvist was in the race last year. He's a good candidate. And Joseph Newgarden won the race for Penske, and Penske seems like they might have an opening. Now, I know Joseph's wife's either having a baby or had a baby, so it gets tricky. So more details about the race. The race starts 1 p.m. on January 24th and ends at 1 p.m. on January 25th. The start and finish will be broadcast on NBC. The entire race is on IMSA TV, which you can catch on Peacock and you can catch on YouTube. So if you're attending in person, it's quite a party, but be ready. It's a party that lasts 26 plus hours because pre-start activities are a lot of fun. You'll get to meet your driver, and then it gets cold in the night. I went last year. I made it till about 1 a.m. and then I just had to go home. I was just exhausted. So, but there are party animals that can handle the whole thing, and I hope you're one of them. Otherwise, let's watch the race and cheer on our favorite drivers. I'm Tom. They call me IndyCar Dad. I write blog posts about IndyCar. I'm a big fan, and I try to look up things other people might not have the time to look up. So you'll find me on YouTube. You'll find me on Instagram where I post funny memes, and I also share my videos on Reddit. So I hope you see me at all of those locations. Thanks for watching.